Hi, I'm Daniel Holter. I'm a producer-composer based in Seattle, Washington. My friend Josh Gudwin came out with a plugin called Magic Flow. He sent it to me a couple days ago, and I just figured I'd do a quick walkthrough because it's super cool. It's available through Acoustica and Studio DMI. It's called Magic Flow. You can check out their website, acoustica-audio.com, if you want all the specifics and the technical stuff. I'm not really into that kind of thing, and I think that's kind of what I like about this plugin, is there's a lot going on with what looks like a bunch of controls at first, but they're pretty simple and overall pretty subtle. But I thought I would show you a way that I'm using it in a non-subtle way. I don't know if this is what Josh intended or not. Forgive me, Josh, if I'm abusing your plugin. It got really cool and really interesting when I started pushing it and using it in a situation that wasn't just the two bus or just the stereo mix. This is a song I'm working on for my company, The License Lab. We have a catalog of licensed music available through Universal Music globally. If you're interested in that, you can Google my name or Google The License Lab and you'll come across plenty of content there if you're into that sort of thing. It's a track written by Alex Shaw, an artist here in Seattle. We had Alec in the studio one day. We had a drummer, Sean Lane, in the studio downstairs here at London Bridge, Studio A. And Jeff Ott here at the studio was engineering. And I was producing this track that is still in production modes. But it's super interesting to hear how transformative some of these tools can be right out of the gate. Here is the drum mics in their raw state without any of Josh's Magic Flow on them right now. This is just the raw drum mics. And they're quality tones, but there's not a lot going on, obviously. I'll give you a little context. Piano, bass, synth, drums. Very basic right now. But check out what is happening here on Magic Flow. I'll play this again. And nothing else is going on here in the mix. I'm just going to open Magic Flow and take it out of bypass. And it just provides some sexy appeal to the whole thing. I love it. This is some tweaking I did, just playing around with the controls and trying to get familiar with the plugin. Here it is without. I don't mind those drum sounds, but they're clearly not finished, ready for mix, anything like that. So this is just Magic Flow on the drum bus with some sections going on here. I'll show you what we've got going on. There's filters, peak leveler, dynamic EQ, dynamic resonance. I'm just turning all these off for a second to show you what each section is doing. Dynamics balance, a final tweaky EQ. We've got this preamp section and a mid bump that I actually have off on this drum submix. I'll show you what happens when I get to the stereo bus. But so just the filters. Josh had said in his intro video that these are custom curves. I don't know the curves. Again, I kind of like that about this plugin. They're just knobs you can turn. I find it really compelling because even though the interface looks pretty, the UX looks nice, I don't get lost in a whole bunch of controls and nitty-gritty. In fact, I didn't even notice, I'm sorry, but I didn't even notice this middle section here in the blue is, when you mouse over, it's showing you the different values for the controls that you're using. I didn't even notice that till after I was using the plugin for a while. So the filter right now is set to 30 hertz. High cut is set to 19 kilohertz. Pretty gentle, subtle filters, but in the context of everything, I really like what it does. How Josh talked about this plugin and likes working, it's a combination of all these small steps that add up to something, I think, really compelling. So that's the filters active on the drums. Here's adding the peak leveling, which is doing, what, 0.3, 0.4 peak reduction with the compressor at 25%. I can see contexts where even extreme use would be helpful, but I'm going to pull this back to about where I had it, is 25%. And there's this dynamic EQ, which this meter in the middle shows a little bit about what's happening with this dynamic EQ. I did what Josh suggested, which was goose the dynamic EQ up to 100 all the way, see which curve is kind of most complementary to what you're going for. And then pull this back and just kind of feel what's happening. Again, subtle stuff that's all adding up to a final result. Then there's this dynamic resonance controller, which if you're familiar with concepts like Soothe or Pro Q3, which allows some resonant filtering based on what frequency is being activated. This is a version of that. I find it really useful. It's subtle, but really helpful. And I love this auto soloing of the frequencies when you click on these controls. So as you click on these bars here, it's giving you just what it's working on. You can change these handles to grab more of the frequency range. You can engage or deactivate these bands here. And then here's a threshold or reduction control. I'm doing a fair bit here in this kind of real low mid thumpy thing. And then there's this dynamics balance compressor that can kick in. Let's see what that does. Again, taking a cue from Josh's notes, I just goosed this the whole way, picked which mode I thought fit the program material, which in this case is just the drum bus. I liked B, and then just backed this off a ways. And then there's this finishing EQ. Same thing. Kind of get the extreme version of it. Try a couple different curves. They're showing up here in the middle when you change them. And that's a lot, too much probably. So I just back this off a bit till it's kind of where I like it. But to me, that's kind of a really exciting, fun drum sound with virtually nothing on the individual channels. Again, great player, Sean Lane. Great engineer, Jeff Ott here at London Bridge. Great studio, great live room. Those are all things that working in our favor. I get that. But this is a lot. Listen to the before and after here. This is super cool. Here's with no Magic Flow on the drum bus. And that's, I think, doing more than this thing was designed to do. I don't know, but it's super cool. And I love how it gets kind of pumpy and exciting in one plugin with almost nothing happening on the individual channels. I think that's really cool and speaks to what I understand Josh is going for with this plugin, which is a speedy workflow, inspiring, gets you to the finish line quicker. I love that stuff. I think it's super fun. So in the context of the whole song, I also added Magic Flow to the stereo bus. And that's this one. Again, probably doing a little too much right now. I'm just getting to know the plugin and having fun with it. But that sounds really good and really fun. There's without. There's with. Yeah, so I have the mid bump on the stereo instantiation and not the preamp, and then the other way around on the drum bus. This is I think really cool the way we get into this arrangement. And there's the thing that's adding excitement right now is just me opening up some microphones as the arrangement goes by. I've got no automation in here. I barely have anything going on mix-wise. We've got other parts to add. This track is not done, but it's already got that kind of finished syrup on it, which makes it a really fun way to work because things already sound exciting and cool. And in my world, licensed music, sync music, music for film and television, budgets are smaller, deadlines are tighter. We're just working in a different format than pop music. I thought it'd be interesting to show kind of how a plugin like this, made by one of pop's A-list mixers, and he's working on some of the biggest records that you've ever heard, how those tools can apply in my world, which is very different than his, but still music production. And I love that this stuff is making our lives easier. I think that's just really, really cool. Good work, Josh. I dig it. I'm going to tell my friends about it. And just wanted to do a very quick my apologies for the hasty nature of the whole thing. But that's the fun I'm having with this thing on day one. All right. See you later.